Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Going Rounds podcast. Going live tonight for the first time. So, man, I hope this goes well. um, first time for everything and first time going live. You know, I'm a little nervous here, but that's all right. I gotta try to be myself and I gotta try to be real. That's what I always like to do. So, I'll go ahead and say I'm nervous right now, but that's all right. We're doing this live. We're going to be going over some stuff here. UFC's back finally this week. It's only a week off, but you're used to having fights every single weekend. So it gets a little bit crazy with how many fights there are, trying to keep up. But, when there's a week off, it feels like it's been a couple weeks. So, we're back in the swing of things, and they're starting it off with UFC Paris. So we're gonna get a little preview of that going today, and we're gonna see, the two top main fights. Gonna go over those because they're interesting, and I'm into it. So, uh, first event in Paris should be good. We'll go over all that in a few. Hopefully, anybody that's in here right now checking this out, I appreciate you. And hopefully, this will be fun. So let's go and let's get started with this. Oh, you know what? First thing, though, I do want to say again that I do appreciate everybody's support. And I am, you know, I'm always trying to get used to things here. Uh, talking to myself is it's challenging. So I am trying to loosen up, get to be a little more myself. So bear with me. Hopefully you guys will enjoy, watching my journey. This will get better. I keep saying it, but I have to keep telling myself too. Just keeping it real and making sure that it's going to be good. So we'll keep that going. We'll keep this going. I try to keep things fresh, I got a nice little new Big E over here. Just to remind everybody who you're talking to, or who's talking, I should say, because you're not talking to anybody. I'm talking. So, um, you know, we're gonna get this thing going here and see what this UFC Paris card is all about. Um, Only other things I wanted to bring up ahead of time was let's see, fights from last week. Fights from last week were good. We went over BKFC. That main event was the title fight with the women, Ferreira and Taylor Starling. That was a quick fight, and Ferreira, she retained the belt, and there was some good mutual respect at the end of that fight. So that was nice to see. It was a pretty quick one though. And then the exciting fight that I thought the most exciting fight was John Dodson against Benoit. Dodson did his thing. He did his thing. He's fast. He's fast and he's powerful, and that's what he showed. And he showed that he was there, you know, to fight and to do the thing with bare knuckle. So we'll see where that goes with him. Good debut from him. Benoit, he struggled and he he took the best from Dodson, and it ended without him getting the win. But I'm sure he'll be back. He's still a young dude. It's a pretty good fight though. The rest of them, I'll be honest, I didn't watch all of them, but that's all right. It's BKFC. It's one of those organizations where you can you can miss a few, watch a few. It's always entertaining, and you know it's fast paced for the most part. It's bare knuckle, and so there'll be blood, there'll be cuts, and it's fun to watch if you're into it. So check it out. One championship, Demetrius Johnson did his thing too. Mighty Mouse himself, showing the great bantamweight that he is. Well, he's bantamweight in one championship. We know him as a flyweight, but he did his thing and he got the belt and he got it back. So that was a really great fight. It came down to uh, Mighty Mouse doing what was done to him, knee to the head. His was a little more brutal, maybe. he caught Mariah's head against the fence, and man, he just rammed that knee into his face. So that was an entertaining ending to that fight, and it's cool to see DJ get his belt back. That's nice. And DJ doing the thing that he always does, being funny at the end when they presented him with his belt, put it on his shoulder. He acted like it was so heavy that he was falling over, which was pretty funny. He did talk about how heavy that belt is, though. That one championship belt is solid gold. All the plates are solid gold. So the UFC championship belt is actually 12 to 12 and a half pounds total. And I guess the one championship belt is 25 pounds of gold. And then I guess they have I think he said titanium, silver, I don't know, platinum, whatever it was. He's got a second one championship belt though, and that one, he said it's just as heavy. So that was pretty funny. If you saw that, it was going around social media and everything, DJ being himself, being cool, being Mighty Mouse. So the rest of the fights, they were all right. Little fast pace here and there, couple KOs and stuff. I think Rodtang didn't fight, so that didn't happen. The other Muay Thai fight ended in leg kicks, and man, I forgot his name. Liam. I think his first name was Liam. Anyway, he lost because he got kicked in the leg so hard that he couldn't continue, which was, it was brutal. Just watching him sit down because he couldn't stand anymore on that leg was crazy. Those Muay Thai kicks are no joke. So anyway, that's a quick little recap of the couple fights and fighting organizations that had fights last weekend. There usually is fights every weekend of some sort. There's a lot of different organizations out there. You might want to check it out. If you're into fighting and combat sports, there's always something to watch. Everything from Muay Thai, submission grappling, all kinds of different MMA. Of course, there's the traditional boxing fights here and there. There's celebrity boxing that we all know about, because I'm sure everybody's heard about Jake Paul fighting all these ex-MMA fighters, ex-UFC fighters, actually. But yeah, there's always fights. There's always some kind of combat sport on. So it's entertaining, something to watch. If you want to watch fights, you can always find something. Anyway, back to, mainstream stuff here, UFC, the thing most people know about. We'll get into that right now. So let's check it out and see what we got going on for UFC Paris, the first one ever in Paris. So Paris was, it was illegal to have MMA fights in Paris up until recently. So this will be the first card that the UFC is putting on in Paris. And of course, to main event that fight is a guy who is from Paris, Cyril. So that's good. They got the hometown going. There's a lot of Canadians on this card, from what I understand. I checked out the card. There's not a lot of big names, but a lot of up-and-comers that are sure to, have some pretty decent careers, and you'd be able to see some good fights out of them. Notable ones, let's see. There's a couple. John McDessie, he's fought quite a bit. He's a Canadian fighter. Got his jaw broken once, and that was pretty nasty. Look that one up if you're interested. Against Nasrat Haqparast. Yeah, that's a tough name. Anyway, that's a notable fight. Charles Jourdain versus Nathaniel Wood. That should be a pretty exciting fight, pretty entertaining. Those guys usually come out banging. So let's see. Joaquin Buckley against Nasruddin Imanov. That should be a good one. Joaquin Buckley, you can look it up. He had a crazy flying knee knockout. I think about a couple years ago during COVID times for sure. That's pretty much it for notables. Not a huge card, but not horrible. These top top two fights here are going to be the ones to watch for sure, which, you know, this is what we got here. Cyril gone, Tui Vasa, and Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. First off, I always like to start with the main event. It's the one to talk about, so we'll start with that. We got Cyril Gane versus Tui Vasa. These guys have not fought before, but they're both great fighters. Cyril Gane's last loss was Ngannou for the belt. They both fought Derek Lewis before, and they both won. But Cyril Gane, he hasn't fought in a while. It's been a little bit. It was kind of a slow fight between him and Ngannou. The thing with Cyril Gane and Ngannou, you know, everyone thought that it was going to be maybe a pretty crazy, exciting fight because of the fact that Ngannou is either out there to survive or out there to just take somebody's head off. And with his fight against Gane, it was, I don't know, I hate saying it's boring because, you know, no fights are really that boring. Well, there's a couple, and I think some of us know where a couple of those boring fights have been. But, you know, it just wasn't what it was hyped up to be. So that kind of sucks. Cyril Gane he's got a lot of wins under his belt, a lot of notable opponents. He's more about a mixture of finishes. He likes to knock people out, but you know, he'll get you in a submission just as quick, or he'll take you to decision. Either way, you know, he's a smart fighter. So let's see, Tui Vasa, he's great, man. He's funny. Let's get into it with Ty, because Ty is an interesting dude, and Tui Vasa is one of the most entertaining fighters on the card right now. This is Tui Vasa right here. Oops, I'm sorry. This is Tui Vasa. And he is the man when it comes to shoeies. If you don't know what a shoey is, basically, they fill up a shoe with beer and he drinks it. And I guess the traditional thing about shoeies are that everybody spits in it first before they take it, which is pretty gross, but fun, I guess. You'll always catch him doing a shoey after a fight, especially after a win. I'm not sure that I've seen him do it after a loss, but after a win, he's definitely doing that shoey. On the cage, on the way out of the cage, he'll jump over the cage into the crowd, do one, get back in the cage. And he's made it such a thing. He's got something called the Tui Vasa. So the Tui Vasa is his patented shoe that you can do the Tui Vasa out of, which is hilarious. I mean, it looks a little freaking weird if you ask me. But it's pretty much like a beer bong, I guess, makeshift. But, you know, he's got this patented design. It looks like a shoe. So instead of drinking out of the shoe, I guess it's a little spout, and it's got a closer. It's got everything. I mean, apparently he's had some issues with shipping. From what I've heard, a lot of podcasts I know are trying to get one to do these on the air, and yeah, it took forever. But anyway, it's a cool idea. It's a cool design. Instead of taking your shoe off your stinky, sweaty foot, which is the point of all this, apparently. These fucking guys like to drink beer out of their shoes. He's from New Zealand, Australia. Anybody know for sure? I do, but whatever. I always forget. You get them confused because it's all the same stuff to me. Not really. Don't want to offend anybody. It's not all the same, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Tui Vasa, look at that. You can order it online. You can get it, and you can there's a lot of things like this out there to drink beer out of, chug beer out of, whatever you want to call it. I know there's like every kind of I mean, I've done a beer bong out of a flamingo. So that'll tell you how many different things there are to chug a beer out of. Why we don't just old school shotgun it or put it in a cup and see how fast you can chug it? I don't know. Guess we got to make it interesting, right? So here's one way to make it interesting. Tui Vasa. Because if you want to be like Ty and do that, then you could do it. And you don't have to mess up your shoe and get it all wet full of beer. But I guess if you lose on a dare, filling up a sweaty, stinky shoe is a good way to do it. So there you go, Tui Vasa. But Ty is on a 5-fight win streak, man. He's getting after it. He did have 3 losses in a row. So of course everybody got down on him. And you know, he did his thing though. He came back, 5-fight win streak. And now he's taking on Cyril Gane. But will he KO him like most of his fights go? Because that's how Tui Vasa wins. KOs for sure. Not too many subs, not too many decisions. He's either winning by KO or losing by KO. But you know what? He might get lucky this time. He's definitely an underdog. I wouldn't say lucky. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. I don't want to say lucky. I want to say if he comes out being the Tui Vasa that he can be, he can fuck some shit up for sure. And we've all seen him do it. If you're into fighting and you've seen Ty fight, you know what I mean. But if he doesn't come out on his game, unfortunately, you know, he could lose. And he can lose because Cyril Gane is one of those guys who is, I mean, look at him. Compared to Ty, he's, you know, he looks like an athlete, pure athlete. And with that being said, he is technical when it comes to fighting. And he's technical and he is calculated. He knows he's not one of those guys who just come out and come after you. So, you know, this is going to be a tough one for Ty because Cyril is in his, it might be a lot of pressure for Cyril Gane too, though, being the first fight in Paris. He's got all that pressure on his shoulders and he's going to be there representing for his, you know, his country. So we'll see how that fight comes out. Cyril Gane's definitely the favorite, minus 540, and Tui Vasa is at plus 420. So if you know anything about fighting, plus 420 for odds, not bad. You can make some money off that because Ty can come out and he could shut Cyril Gane down and he could drop him, KO him, just like he's done a lot of other guys. That last KO versus Derek Lewis, nasty. Cyril Gane beat Derek Lewis too, but, you know, I don't think it was like Ty did. So Tui Vasa has to come out and be a bit more calculated, but hopefully he doesn't come out too timid because Cyril Gane will just take him down and he'll just control him. That's not really what we want to see. We want to see a good fight. But hopefully if Cyril Gane does that, he, you know, follows it up with some good submission attempts or ground and pound. I hope he doesn't just lay and pray. That would suck. But you know, it happens. These fights get hyped up and stuff like that happens. So this should be a good big fight. Ty has the potential to get a crazy knockout, and it'll be a big win for him. Big win for him because Cyril Gane's number 1 in the rankings right now. So yeah, let me double check that. But I like to make sure he's definitely number 1 in the rankings. I mean, his last loss was for the title against Ngannou. So he's number 1. Ty's number 3. Ty could be next in line if he wants to get out there and get this win. So I'm hoping for the best for him. I do like Cyril Gane. He's a great fighter. He seems like a great dude. But I've just been a fan of Ty for a while now, and I just enjoy watching him fight and listening to him in interviews and stuff too. He's hilarious. I mean, he makes me crack up all the time. He's always saying some crazy shit, and he, you know, he's just a stand-up dude. So I am pulling for Ty. So, you know, but it could be a long shot because of Gane's technique, and he's just so calculated, man. He's in there to get a job done, and most of the time he gets it done. But we'll see what happens if he can bounce back from this loss from Ngannou and, you know, make this a fight to remember for the first time in Paris. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I gotta, you know, going live means you gotta be real. Gotta take a drink. Gotta hydrate. You know, don't want to Sound like a jackass over here with my mouth all dry, making weird sounds. That'd be weird, right? All right. Anyway, back to it. Let's see the other top fight. It's gonna be hopefully a nice little comeback for Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. Vettori's character in his own right, but Bobby Knuckles, man, I love that nickname for one. It's hilarious. I didn't even know it for a long time, but when I found out that that's what people are calling him, I was like, hell yeah, that's a good name. I think he's even got shirts and stuff out too with that. But Bobby Knuckles, man, you can't beat that name. That's a hell of a name right there. But Marvin Vettori's he's the kind of guy that he fights a bit emotional, so you never know what you're gonna get out of him. He talks a lot of shit online too, so if you go check out his Instagram or his Twitter too, I think either way, I've seen him talking mad shit all the time. So someone's, Whittaker's not a shit talker for the most part, but with a name like Bobby Knuckles, you know what happens when he gets in there. He gets in there to do the damn thing. So, let's go over a little bit about Mr. Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker. Unfortunately, he's lost twice to Israel Adesanya, who is the champ right now. But his last fight was against Izzy, and he lost. He didn't look too great in that fight, but it is what it is. Robert Whittaker's a damn good fighter, and I'm hoping to see him come back as strong as he's been in the past, and kind of a resurgence here, because he's been a little down and out lately. Him and Vettori were supposed to fight before, but it got canceled. It was back in June. I'm not exactly sure what it was canceled for, but either way, they're doing it now. So hopefully it's going to be a banger. And I want to see Robert Whittaker come back, man. I want to see him do it. I want to see him be like he was when he was a champ, because he was a damn good fighter. And he had champ status for a little while. It was good. So Marvin Vettori, though, he's the type of dude, like I said earlier, he fights a bit emotional, and he sometimes lets that get to him. So this time, if he comes out there fighting like that, Whittaker's going to take advantage, and he's going to do what he does. He's going to probably take him down and give him some ground and pound, or at least take him down to set up some potential strikes, maybe wear out Vettori a little bit, because Whittaker's a damn good wrestler for sure. So he's the type that can get away with that. He can get that done. We'll see what happens with that. Vettori, I don't know, man. He lost the title fight to Izzy as well. So both these guys know what it's like to fight Israel Adesanya. He is coming off a win though to Paulo Costa, who is Paulo Costa is a beast. So for Vettori to take that W from him, it's pretty good. That was a shit talking fest though. Him and Costa, man, they were going back and forth, and that was the entertaining part. Their fight was good too, but the shit talk was great. So Vettori's got that in him, and we'll see what happens with this fight. Hopefully it's a good one. We got to start the first UFC event off in Paris with some great fights to end everything. So, if you are wanting to check out the fights this weekend, ESPN Plus is usually the place to be. They're going to be on early though, so you got to be ready for that. I believe it's going to be like middle of the day, early. I got something on my hat, and it's like driving me crazy out of the corner of my eye. Anyway, it's going to be middle of the day. It's going to be early, so you can get those fights watched, and then go get some dinner, go get some drinks, have a little fun. It's going to be a long weekend, so hopefully everybody enjoys that and catches those fights. This is just me talking shit about these fighters and these fights because I know I'm going to be watching, whether I watch it live or watch it later, I always watch it. So these I'm going to try to catch live no matter what I'm doing. I got my phone in my hand streaming these fights. And if something happens and I miss it, got to go back and rewind. Can't miss the good stuff. But either way, I always listen to everything about it the next week, going over all the fights. That's why I wanted to do this. This is something that I like to do, and it's something that I wanted to, you know, stick my foot in a little bit and see what happens. I hope that I can get better at all this, and I hope that, you know, the quality of it gets better or whatnot. But hey, first time for everything. This is the first live. It's not going too bad. I didn't stumble too much. I'm working on not saying all the time. Again, I gotta be real and I gotta hold myself accountable. So stop saying stop saying This is like my mantra for every day. Stop saying so much. Stop saying I say these things all the time and I don't even realize it until I have to listen to I hate listening to myself. So podcasting is a chore when you hate your voice and you hate listening to yourself. And then you start pointing things out that you hate about what you do and you do it all the time. It's annoying. My wife knows what I'm talking about because I keep telling her, tell me to stop fucking saying that, please, because I want to stop. I got to train myself. But you know what? I get a lot of practice. I do other podcasts and, it's fun. It's fun. So that's how I get my practice. And then I'll just keep doing these and I'll get better as I go. My setup will get better. I got a lot of tools here that can help me make all of this better. So I got my guys that I podcast with that are always helping me out with everything. So shout out to them. They know who they are. I don't know if you want me to give you the proper shout out, but I will one day. Anyway, I appreciate all the help. And, as I go, I teach them what I learn. They teach me what they learn. And that's what makes this cool. And then all of us just jump on, mess around, have fun. And it's good. Whenever these fools get their mind made up and we actually name our other podcasts and decide that we want everybody to see our chaos and craziness, I'll shout it out here because, it is what it is. That's where I started. That's what's fun. And we like to mess around. So anyway, a couple other things I wanted to just make sure that everybody, just thanks again for tuning in. I can't say that enough. And thanks again for liking everything and everything like that. Make sure you continue to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when new episodes are out. And subscribe just to help me out. Like things to let me know you actually like it. The usual YouTube stuff, because I'm trying to grow it here and see what's happening with this and see if I do want to keep it going. That's the thing. I want to keep it going. So if you guys help me out, do all this stuff for me, that'd be great. I'm not going to have any gimmick behind it. I got some reminders over there. See me? I'm doing this. It's over there. Over there? Nope. 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 There it is. Yeah. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And let's see what else I got. Oh, Instagram, Facebook. I got pages on both of them. Go hit that follow on those. Help me out there. On these, this is where I post a lot, post and repost a lot of stuff. If you don't want to follow like 17, 18, 27, 38, however many fighters or MMA news, pages and stuff like that, you don't want to clutter everything, just follow me. I'll try to post all the good stuff, all the news, all the crazy stuff. It's all the same name, Going Rounds Podcast. You can find it on both of those. I don't have a Twitter yet. I'm thinking about starting a Twitter, but man, that's just another thing to keep going. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff going on Twitter. It all winds up everywhere, no matter what. So, I might start it anyway. get it going, retweet a bunch of stuff, and, just have an extra page out there for everybody to see. Maybe somebody will see it and say, "Hey, what's the Going Rounds podcast? Let me check it out." Because, I'll post on there that we're on YouTube. Come here, check it out. So thanks again, everybody. I appreciate it. This one's a little short but sweet. And, I had a couple new things going on in this, and I wanted to make sure that the quality was good. And we got the 2 big main fights going on and out there for everybody to know what's happening and, have a little bit of info before you get to watching the fights this weekend. So thanks again for tuning in. And I will quite possibly have a little surprise for next week. We got a good pay-per-view, big pay-per-view. The whole card isn't big, but a couple big main fights at the top. One of which, hey, I'm just going to say it right now. It's one of my favorite fighters of all time, Nate Diaz, 209. So I know a lot of people don't like him, but hey, guess what? I do. So you're going to hear about him, and I'm sorry, or I'm not. Or, you know what? As Nate Diaz would say, who gives a fuck? Fuck you. I like him. Okay? I'm going to do what I want because this is my podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just being a dick, but I do like Nate Diaz. I like the Diaz brothers, and he's the main event next week. So I'm gonna go a little longer on that, and I might have a little surprise. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing it. I'm gonna have a little guest, get that going, because that is something I want to do here. Is have a guest every now and again. So yeah, make sure you are looking out for that, and make sure you tune in for that. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Peace.